Okay, so the first thing we have to cover is making databases. We have to have some databases before we can then put stuff anywhere inside of those databases. So it's a couple of steps that we need to go through before we can even really work with real data. But this is a really important piece of using MySQL or really any SQL database. So we've got our database server that's already installed and set up, and within the world of a database server, we can have a bunch of different databases. So these are self-contained sort of silos of information, silos of data and tables, which we'll learn about shortly. And they have nothing to do with one another. It's important to know that our data isn't all floating around together in one soup, but rather it's divided up into these discrete databases. So we could have a dog walker database, a news site database, just a practice database if you're trying things out, and they're all separate. So let's zoom in on just two, dog walker database and a soap shop database. So we have a dog walking app and a soap e-commerce store, I guess. Both of these will have some data, right, that is unique to them. So we'll have some dog stuff, dog profile, walkers, something like that inside of the dog walker database, and we'll have a soaps set of information in the soap shop database. But they also might both have users. They might both have payments, but we want them to be separate, right? We can't have contamination where all of a sudden we're charging people in the dog walker database when they buy soap or vice versa. We want to have each set of data in its own little bubble. So that's what we call a database. So one more time, we have multiple databases within a MySQL database server. So the first thing we need to do as far as code is take a look at what databases currently exist. When you install MySQL, there will be some default databases. You probably won't need to touch them at all right now. Well, you definitely won't need to right now. But this command, show databases, we've actually seen it briefly when we installed. This will show us those databases. So I'm going to flip between using the terminal and Workbench in this video just to make sure we cover all the bases. The first thing we'll do is fire it up in the terminal. So again, this command is mysql-u, and then I'm logging in as root. That's the only user we have right now. And then I'm going to provide a password afterwards, -p. So I need to provide the root password that I set up. And I hit enter, and if I have the right password, this is what I see. Now I'm going to clear my screen with Control L just so you don't have to look at all this text. And my prompt has changed to MySQL. So I type stuff in here, and I am in MySQL land. I get an error because that doesn't mean anything to MySQL. But this should. If I do a show databases with a semicolon, if I don't have that semicolon, you'll see that I get this arrow. It's asking me, it's kind of waiting. It's like, okay, and then what? You haven't terminated your command. But a semicolon tells MySQL this is the end. Okay, so what do we see? We get this printout that says, here are the databases you have right now. Information schema, MySQL, performance schema, sys. You really don't need to worry about these. But the fact that we see something tells us databases exist. That's kind of all you need to know. Now, over in the Workbench, to log in, to connect to the database, I have this local instance connection. I have to provide my password here, right? Because the whole point is that we're doing this with a graphical interface, not via the command line. And then what I can do is run this command. I'm just going to type, unfortunately, I can't make this much larger, show databases, semicolon, and I'm going to click that lightning bolt. And I get a result back, and it's the same information, the same data. It's just displayed in this app, right? Information schema, MySQL, performance schema, sys. Same thing here. Just two different ways of accessing that. Now, this is not that exciting at the moment, not at all exciting, because we don't have any new databases, and that's going to change in the next video.